Welcome to this video about resume templates. A template in Microsoft Word is a document that is pre-designed for you. The layout is already set, so you don't have to worry about that, and all you need to do is provide the content. I'll be doing this video in Word 2016. Now, I know that you might not have that version. You might have an earlier version or even a later version of Word, but that's okay. A few of the introductory buttons might be a little different, but once you get into the template itself, the process will be the same, so you'll still learn how to work with the templates. I'll go ahead and open Word by clicking its button on my taskbar. That brings me to the home screen, as you can see over here in the option panel on the left. I'll click on New because I'm creating a new document. And Word shifts to show me some of the things I've been working with recently. But I would like to work with something new. I want to work with a resume template. Now you notice here there's a search for templates. I could click in here and type resume. But that's actually not necessary because right underneath the search tool is a link to resumes and cover letters. So I'll go ahead and click on that. As you can see, Word opens up a lot of options for different kinds of resumes and cover letters. And notice that some of them are very specific to a job you might be looking for, like a restaurant manager job or an attorney job. But we're not going to be that specific. I'll show you that if you want to get a closer look at what these resumes might provide for you, I'll click on the first one to get that closer look. You can see this one's pretty fancy. I can put in a picture. They've got a lot of different font changes here. Notice that there's a right arrow here that allows me to scroll through this list. So I'll click the right arrow. Here's one that's much more basic. We might come back and use this one. I'll click the right arrow again. This is a cover letter that might go with that resume. Right arrow again. Here's another design and another design. And as you see, I can slowly scroll through these to find something that I like. I'll go back with the left arrow, and I'll end up at this first very basic resume, and this is the one I would like to work with. So I will click on the Create button, and Word opens it into a typing screen. So here we have the resume that I picked. And notice that there are sections where particular information would get typed. And notice that when I click on these sections, I get an indicator that I can type in there. These are called placeholders. A placeholder identifies an area of the document where you type certain information. So here, I'll type my first name. Then I'll click on the last name placeholder, and I'll type my last name. Notice that this particular resume template assumes that I want my last name to be bolded but not my first name, and I'm not so sure that I actually like that. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my last name and take the bolding off of it. I think having it in that large font is sufficient. I don't need to bold it again. I will click on the address placeholder and I'll type in an address. And then there's a placeholder for my phone number. I'll type in a phone number. There's a place for my email address. I've typed in my email address. And notice that there's a place here for social media and for LinkedIn profiles. Maybe you don't have those things yet. Perhaps you haven't created those. So you can also delete a placeholder. Notice I'm using my backspace key to delete those things that I don't want to use yet. I also notice that this is a little bit of a small font, and I might like to kick that up a little bit. Notice it's an 11 point, and I might like to put it at 14. Make it a little bolder, a little more dominant, so it's easy for somebody to read. The next placeholder is where I would type my objectives. What am I looking for in my career? What kind of a job would I like to get? So I'll type an objective here. Something like that. Maybe that's what I want to do. I want to work for a nonprofit, and I would like to help people who are homeless. Okay, now I've done my contact information, I've typed my objective, and I can look at the rest of the resume. Experience would be listing jobs that I've had already. Education, of course, is identifying what level of education I've achieved. Then there's a place where I can type in special skills that I have and personal activities that I like to pursue. With experience in education, you always list the most recent at the top and then you show earlier ones down below. So for instance, with experience, I'll say the date from, maybe it's May 2015 to September 2017. The job title, maybe I was a secretary. And the company, I'll just make up a name. And down here, I click on this placeholder and I type in what I was responsible for. So that's a description of what I did in brief. Then if I had another job before that, I would fill out the same information here. Again, I just click on each placeholder and I answer the question. I put in the information that's appropriate. But maybe that was my first job. Maybe I don't have a job previous to that. So I could also delete these things. Notice that I just highlighted all of this by dragging my mouse over it. Then I'll hit the delete key on my keyboard, and now I have my one job experience listed there. I'll go to education. The month that I graduated, usually folks graduate in the month of May, so I'll say May, and maybe the year was 2014. And the degree title, let's say I got a bachelor's degree. And we'll say the school perhaps was UNM. And if I want to, I can brag about how well I did. I was voted the graduating class valedictorian. Yay! Then I could put in something previous here. I could say perhaps in May 2012. I got an associate's degree, and perhaps I got that at Santa Fe Community College. And maybe I don't have anything to brag about there, so I'll delete that. And then skills. What are my skills? I work well with others. I'm a good typist. I know shorthand. I know I understand bookkeeping. I enjoy marketing. And maybe I need more. Maybe I want to put something else in here. So notice what I can do. I could click at the end of one of these bullets and press my Enter key, and that gives me another bullet. Perhaps I know ASL. Maybe I know American Sign Language. So I am fluent in ASL. And maybe I could also say I am fluent in Spanish. Maybe I don't really know how to take shorthand. If you want, you can delete one of these by just highlighting it and deleting. So you can add or delete skills as you feel is needed. You don't have to have 6 of these or 8 of these. You could just list 2 or 3 things that you want to emphasize about yourself. Activities generally sort of describes you as a person. What do you like to do? I enjoy being around lots of other people. I am a skier. I like to dance. I play piano. Talk about yourself. Describe yourself. Give the person who is reading your resume something to talk to you about besides just job-related things. This will give your potential employer something to think about you that fills out a picture of you a little bit more. So all of Word templates are made up with these placeholders. Whether you're doing a resume template or a business card template or a memo template, there are templates for many, many different things. And templates are always made up of a pre-designed document with placeholders. And all you need to do is click on the placeholder to fill in the information that you need to provide. And you can add extras or you can delete the ones that you don't want. It's up to what your needs are. Then, of course, you must save your document. So I'll click File and I'll say Save. And I'll decide where I want it to go. And right now, I'll just put this on my desktop. So I'll click Desktop. And then I'll say, this is Betsy Walker's resume. And I'll click Save. And now you can look up at the top of the screen and see that this document is named. In Microsoft Word, as soon as you save a document, you give it a name, and that shows at the top of your screen. So, thanks for watching this video about resume templates. I hope you learned a lot. I had fun doing it.